It was the day of musicians when gods and shepherds played their pipes and the stars began to sing. However, the triumph of Phoebus Apollo was not as glorious as the achievements of an individual man who lived upon the earth, despite the fact that some claim he was of divine ancestry. His name was Orpheus, the alleged son of Apollo, the greatest of harpers, who sailed with the Grecian heroes on the magnificent ship Argo in pursuit of the Golden Fleece. Once Orpheus returned from the heroic quest, he married Eurydice, and they were overjoyed as people who totally love each other and everyone else hopes to be. The beasts of the wild utterly admired this charming couple, and the trees grew forth around their abode as though irrigated by song. Even the gods, however, were not always without pain, and calamity soon befell upon the harper Orpheus, whom all mankind adored. As the story goes, there was a day when while out with the nymphs, his attractive wife Eurydice unintentionally stepped on a serpent in the high grass. No monster could have hurt her if Orpheus had been with her while playing his lyre. But Orpheus had arrived too late. She died quickly as a result of the vicious venom, and so he lost her to the underworld as a result. For days, he roamed from his house, singing to innocent passers-by about his tragic loss. His anguish stirred the very stones of the forest and awakened a mute pain in the hearts of wild creatures. Even the gods on Mount Olympus listened, but they had no influence over the dark gloom of Hades. No one dared to refuse Orpheus entry wherever he went with his lyre, and he eventually located unprotected to the exact cave that leads to the underworld, where Pluto reigns over the spirits of the dead. He went down without hesitation. The fire in his living heart guided him through the darkness of that realm. He crossed the Styx, the dark river named after the god's most sacred pledge. Charon, the cruel old ferryman who transports the shades, neglected to request the coinage that every soul must pay to cross. Instead of handing over this tribute, Orpheus sung for him. The miserable spirits would not have been stirred by Apollo's song in the underworld. It would have astounded them, like a distant star. Nobody realizes how far away it is. But here was a human singer, and he sang of things that develop in every human heart, such as youth, love, and death, the sweetness of the earth, and the bitterness of losing something we love. When the dead travel to the underworld, they drink from the lake of Lethe, and oblivion of everything that has happened comes over them like a slumber, and they lose their craving for the upper world, their recollection of suffering, and they live satisfied with that calm twilight. But not even the pool of Lethe could withstand Orpheus singing, and all the ancient dreams awakened in the hearts of the shades, wondering. They recalled the splendor of the sun and moon, the fragrance of young grass, the warmth of their houses, and all the past joy and pain that they had felt. And they cried in unison. Even the Furies felt sorry for them. Those who were afflicted for their terrible crimes too, stopped to be tormented for themselves, and mourned only for the innocent Orpheus who had lost Eurydice. Sisyphus, the deceitful king, doomed to move a gigantic boulder uphill forever, paused to listen. Danaus' daughters abandoned their work of drawing water in a sieve. Tantalus forgot about hunger and thirst, despite the fact that before his eyes hung enchanted fruits that were prone to vanishing from his hands, and just beyond reach bubbled the water that was an agony to his ears. He did not hear it while Orpheus emphasized sweet poetry with a song. So among a throng of excited spirits, Orpheus appeared before the king and queen of Hades, singing with all his heart. And the queen Proserpina sobbed and became homesick as she listened, recalling the fields of Enna and the tall wheat stalks growing under a radiant sun, and her own lovely mother, Demeter, alive and well. Then Pluto succumbed to the desire of Orpheus to have fair Eurydice resurrected. The rulers of Hades soon summoned the lovely Eurydice, who appeared as a young visitor unfamiliar with the gloom of the underworld. She was to accompany Orpheus back up to the earth and light, but only on one condition. If he turned to look at her even once, before they reached the upper atmosphere, he would lose her forever and be forced to return to his homeland alone. The joyous Orpheus hurried on his journey, thinking only of Eurydice, who was following him. He and his gorgeous wife walked past Lethe and crossed the Styx, remaining as quiet as a shade. But the atmosphere was gloomy, the quiet weighed upon him. He hadn't seen her in such a long time, her footsteps made no sound, and he couldn't believe the miracle, for Pluto seldom relents. When the first rays of sunlight burst through the fissure into the bleak landscape of Hades, he forgot everything except that he needed to know whether she was still following him. When he suddenly turned around to see her face, the vow was shattered forever. She gave him a forgiving look, but it was too late. He reached out his arms to embrace her, but she vanished as quickly as the dazzling snow that no one can retain and melts in our hands. A parting whisper reached his ears, in which his lovely wife bid her husband farewell. Then she was gone. Orpheus would have followed, but Charon, who was now on high alert, drove him away. He waited there for 7 days between the worlds of life and death, but Hades would not listen to his music after the broken pledge. He returned to Earth, albeit it was no longer a worthy place to him. He died young, singing until the last, and nightingales nested in the trees around where his body lay. His lyre was placed amid the stars, and he descended once again into the underworld unbidden to join his sweet Eurydice. Both Orpheus and Eurydice did not need to drink from the forgetful waters of Lethe as the other inhabitants of Hades were prone to do, because their lives on earth had been so perfect, and since they were back together again, their hearts held such joy and had no room for past sorrows. If you're enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know when we upload new videos, and you'll never miss out. Also, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. It really helps out and lets us know that you're enjoying the content. And if you think this video would be helpful or entertaining for someone else, please share it with them. Finally, make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Hitting the bell ensures that you'll always be notified when we upload new content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.